Hi and welcome to the tutorial for October's subscription box. I do apologise that it's been a little bit delayed, but with everything else that's going on in the world, stock has been arriving to me a little bit late. But anyway, you're still going to have your box, so you're still going to have plenty of time to get this done before Halloween. So the project is for a Halloween pumpkin macrame wall hanger. Okay, so this is how we're going to end up. Now this one is made using the sunset colour, but now again I made that before the other one had arrived, so we've got the orange, which is more pumpkin-y colour. So you've got the cord in your kit, and you've got a 15cm metal ring, which is going to be the frame for the wall hanging. You're also going to need a pair of scissors. Again, I use my Fiskars razor scissors, and I'm going to be working on my cork board so I can pin, as always, if you've been watching my tutorials before, so I can pin my work into place whilst I'm working on the board. Okay, so you go and get yourself everything ready. Grab yourself a cup of tea, cup of coffee, and we'll make a start. Okay, so I've cut everything ready. I've got my metre length cords already cut, and what we're going to do is we're going to attach the 12 cords to the ring with a lark's head knot. Okay, so we've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. So I'm going to show you first of all, as always when we're doing a lark's head knot, make sure the two ends are meeting. Work your way back and you will end up with a loop. Okay, I'm going to put the loop over the hoop, and then I'm going to open that loop, pull those two cords through, and that's our first lark's head knot. Okay, so I'm going to repeat that again. I'll show you once more. So make sure the ends meet, and then we know we're working with an equal length cord. You've got your hoop, hoop over, loop over, sorry, the hoop, too many oops, and then pull, there you go, pull that back, and then you've got your second lark's head knot. Okay, so we're going to do that with all 12 cords, and then I will show you how to make the square knot pattern. Okay, so loop over the hoop, open that loop, pull those two cords through, and there you go. Okay, right, do all 12 now, and I'll meet you in a second. Right, I've attached all 12 cords now with my lark's head knot, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pin my hoop so it doesn't wobble or move too much when I'm making the square knots. Okay, so that's pinned down there, and then I'm going to take the first two lark's head knots, so that's the first 4 cords, and I'm going to make a square knot. Now, if this is the first time you've done a square knot, there is a tutorial for beginner's knots on my channel, but I'll just go through it with you. We have 4 cords. The 2 centre cords are the holding cords. My left hand cord goes over the top of those 2 holding cords and makes like an L or a number 4. And then this right hand cord comes over the L cord, and then okay, so that comes over the L cord, and then I'm going to lift up the holding cords, and with the end of the right hand cord, it comes from behind up through that L loop, and then I just put my thumb on those holding cords, pull that together, and that's half of the square knot. Okay, and then with my right hand cord I'm going to make a P, so it's like my P cord, my P loop, and again this goes over the two holding cords, and then with my left hand cord this is coming over my P cord, and it's going to go up and behind and then up through that P loop. Okay, and then I'm going to just pull that nice and tight, and there we go. Okay, so I'm going to repeat that with my next 4 cords to make my second square knot. Okay, if you need to stop the video here to go through the square knots, then that's obviously absolutely fine. Okay, so you're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 square knots, and then I'll meet you for the next row. Okay, so I've done the first row and now I've got 6 square knots. Now what I'm going to do here is, because obviously we're going rounded, we just want to fill in the centre part. So I'm going to go to the centre 2 square knots, and I'm going to take 2 cords from each one. Let me move that over so you can see clearly. So from the centre left hand cord I've taken the 2 right hand cords, and from the next square knot I've taken the 2 left hand cords. Okay, and that we're going to do exactly the same, is make another square knot. Now what this is going to do, it's going to hold the pattern together, because these are what we call alternating square knots. Yeah, so it's going to hold the whole thing together. And so we're just going to do 1 in the centre, and then we're going to do 1 to the left, 4 cords, okay, so there are the 4 cords. Do a square knot here, oh, a bit wobbly, sorry, and then I'm going to do the second half of that square knot, and then I'm going to do a square knot to the right of the middle one that we did. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So once that's done, we're then going to do another row where we're alternating again, but we will have another row of 6 square knots. So if I imagine that I'll put all these back down here, okay, make sure those are all over there. Make sure they're all straight and not overlapping. Okay, so we're going to leave the first 2. Okay, so we're not going to use those, so we're going to have 4 square knots along here. So I'm going to take 2, hang on, make a square knot here, 2 and those 2 there from this previous square knot. Then we'll have 2 cords spare, which is fine because we're going to use those for the eyes. So we've got that one there. Move those 2 out of the way. So we're not going to use those next 2. I'm going to take the next ones . Okay, another one here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Then I'm going to leave those 2 outer ones. I'm going to leave those next 2 there, and then I'm going to make my other square knot here. Okay, if you need to slow the video down so you can watch in slow motion which chords, or just keep rewinding which chords I've used and which I haven't, then please do that. But there we go, that is now all of the top section of our pumpkin. And what I'm going to show you next is how to do the eyes using the double half hitch knot. Okay, so we've done this bit, now we're going to do the eyes. Okay. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start the eye. Okay, and for this section, as I said, we're going to use the double half hitch knot. So what we're going to do is we're going to sort of like split the top section now into half, if you like. Okay, so those chords on the right hand side I'm not going to use yet. All right, so I found the centre 2 square knots, so those ones are going to be used in a minute. And then with this one, those 2 chords that we had left that were not part of a square knot, these are going to be the filler chords for the eye. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cross them over. Okay, and then I'm going to take the the first chord from this square knot, and I'm going to make a double half hitch knot. So over the filler cord, bring it through the loop, pull it back, and repeat that for the double half hitch knot. Okay, so now notice that I'm holding my filler cord in a diagonal direction because that's the way I want it to go to make the top of the eye. Okay, so whichever way you want your line of double half hitch knots to go, that's the way you hold your filler cord. Okay, try and keep them same size-ish, it'll just look neater. So 1, 2, 3, okay, and then one more from that square knot, and there we go. Okay, so that's the first half of the eye done. So now I'm going to take the other cord and I'm going to use the 4 chords from the square knot to make the outer part of the eye on the left hand side. Okay, so over and pull through. Try and pull it up so you get that nice point at the top of the, like the triangle for the pumpkin's eye. Second one. Try and make sure these aren't crossed over. There we go. And one more. Okay, so then once you've done that, I'm just going to sort of like bring these down. Okay, and then I'm going to go over to the right hand side now. I'm going to move those out of the way, and I'm going to repeat exactly the same on the right hand side. So move those outer two out the way, find those two centre ones that weren't part of the square knot, and you're going to do exactly the same to make the top part of the triangle. Okay, do that now and I'll meet you in a second. Okay, so I've completed the top part of both of the eyes now. Now what we're going to do is we're going to do the bottom of the eyes. So for this I have cut myself another metre length of the cord, and again, so I know that I'm working with equal distances, I'm going to fold it in half, and this centre point, we're not going to attach it to anywhere as such, but we just want to lie it there so I know that that's in the centre, and I can always pin it if need be. Okay, it just makes it a bit extra secure. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to do more double half hitch knots, but they're going to be going in a horizontal line. I'm going to leave the first two cords again, and I'm going to start with the first cord from the row of double half hitch knots. So over there, and again, because we're going in a horizontal line, that's why, you know, the cord is horizontal. Okay, so I'm going to attach that first one there. Okay, and then I'm going to attach the second one, and basically I'm just going to work my way all the way along here, all the way along this horizontal line. Now it might be though that you might just miss a cord out, because otherwise this will get too bulked up. So if that's the case, then just go on to the next one. So over and through. Okay, I'm going to move that now because that's restricting me holding the cord. So over and through. Okay, and like I say, if we leave that one, because we're still going to use these for the square knots underneath, and then maybe do the next one, because otherwise, as I say, it will just become too bunched up, it'll be too square. Okay, right, so basically all we're going to do now is carry on all the way along until you have reached the other end, but you're leaving the last two cords free. Okay, and then you'll have closed like the bottom of the pumpkin's eyes. Okay, do that now and I'll meet you in a second. Okay, so I've finished that row now, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a row of square knots between the eyes and the mouth. So again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to split the cords. So for the first square knot, we're going to be using these two spare cords, but the cord that we used for the filler cord for this row, that is going to be redundant. We're not going to use that. But what will happen is that will form part of the actual wall hanging. Okay, it will become clearer in a second. And then I'm going to take the first two cords from the row of double half hitch knots, and I'm going to make a square knot here. Okay, So if I make a square knot there, and this is going to sort of like just tighten all these bits together and hold it securely. Okay, so there's one square knot. All right, now what I am going to do is I'm going to do the same on the other side, just so I don't get confused with which cords I'm using. Okay, so take the outer two, that filler cord, just pop it over to the side because we're not going to use that. This is going to be coming over here, and I'm going to put a square knot there. Okay, and then you'll see that you've got equal groups of 4, so that's going to be one square knot. So just check your cords before you start making. You've got another group of 4 there. We're going to have 6 all along this row. Got another group of 4 there. And these ones, just make sure that they're all flat. Okay, so we're going to make another 4 square knots to complete that row, and then we'll do the mouth. Okay, so I've completed that row of square knots. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the mouth. So again, I've cut myself another cord. This one's probably about 50 centimetres. Place the centre in the centre. And I mean, the shape of the mouth that you do, it's entirely up to you really. You can do the sort of like a big sort of like pumpkin smile, or you could do sort of like a little circle for like an open mouth, which I think is what I'm going to do for this one. So again, this filler cord, it's going to be extra to the cords that we've already used. In fact, what I do need to do is I'm just going to pin it, aren't I, just to keep it in place for the first double half hitch knot. Okay, and again, what we want to do is we want to just place the filler cord in the direction that we want our line of double half hitch knots to make. So if I'm doing a circle for the mouth, okay, it's not going to be exactly circular, but we can make it near enough. Okay, so I'm going to pull that down there. That one's almost like a vertical. Okay, and then I'm going to bring my filler cord back around here. Okay, and I'm going to leave those cords, but I'm going to use these cords again. Okay, and you can see now that this is sort of like beginning to form half of the semicircle. Half of the circle, sorry, it's beginning to form a semicircle. Can't get my words out. Okay, that's going to come around there. So this is going to be like a shocked pumpkin. Okay, there's one. Okay, so that's with that half. And then with the other half, I'm going to do exactly the same. So that cord that's the filler cord, that just becomes a spare one. And then I'm going to do exactly the same with this side. I can take that out now. It's secure in place. Okay, but again, the fun of this is you can create whatever pattern you like. If you want to do, you know, a different shape mouth, then you absolutely can. It's entirely up to you. Alright, okay, so that's beginning to come around here now. So there. And the next one. Okay, so you can see where we're going now, can't you? You can see that the mouth's beginning to form. Just got a couple more to do. Let me get that one underneath there. And then to to secure the bottom of the mouth, so you can see how we've made it round just by moving the filler cord, but then just to secure it, I'm going to go back with this one and I'm just going to secure the bottom of the cord there. Okay, so there we have got our pumpkin's face. And all we're going to do now is we're going to secure the cords to the bottom of the hoop just with a double half hitch knot. So now I'm going to unpin it because I want to lift this up. Okay, I'm going to start with the outer cord. Okay, and basically with each one we're just going to make a double half hitch knot to secure it to the hoop. Okay, and then we're going to do that. In fact, what you could do is put all these cords through the hoop so they're behind. It makes it easier. And then we do 1, 2. Okay, move on to the next one, and that will just secure the rest of the pumpkin onto the hoop, and then we can shuffle these cords around once we've attached them all. Okay, so if you attach the rest of the cords, and I'll meet you when we're done. Okay, and there we are, our completed pumpkin's face. Again, as I said, you can sort of adapt the design to suit yourself. What you can do with these cords that are left hanging, you could add beads to them, you can trim them, you could fray them if you want it a feathered look, or you could plait them. It's entirely up to you. Okay, right, well I hope you've enjoyed October's main subscription project. Keep tuned for the bonus project. If you like what you've seen, make sure you hit like, subscribe, click on the bell to make sure you get notifications, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Hi, and welcome to the bonus project for the October subscription pack. The bonus project is to make some of these cute little ghost tassels, which you can then include with your Halloween decorations. You can either hang them up individually around the house, or on if you have a season tree, or you can put them together and make them into a garland. The choice is entirely up to you. Okay, so for this you're going to need the white cord that's in your boxes. Okay, and I've cut 10 lengths of 30 centimetres. Okay, and then I've also cut a separate length of 15 centimetres, which is going to be the hanging tie here. You're going to need a brush because we're going to be brushing these cords out to make sort of like give it like a feathered effect. And you've also got a touch of the black cord in your box, so they're going to use for the eyes and for the tie. Okay, so cut 10 lengths of 30 centimetres, 1 length of 15, and I'll meet you in a minute. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is I'm going to put all of the lengths, the 30 centimetre lengths together. Okay, and then we're going to fold them in half. Okay, so we've got the loop there, and this loop is going to be the head, and then this is going to be sort of like the body part, or the dress or sheet part of the ghost. Okay, and what you're going to do, and this might take a little while, we're just going to start brushing these cords out. Okay, now you might find it easier to do them all together depending on what brush you've got, or you might find it easier if you just sort of start untwisting them and then brush them out. Okay, but it will take a little while. This is quite time consuming just to do this bit, but as I say, if your pet brush isn't doing it so quickly, then this is just a hair comb, and again I'm just going through it. Just start at the ends and then work your way to the centre, and you can see that's beginning to untwist quite quickly. So it's entirely up to you if you do one at a time or do them all together. But yeah, so So brush them all out, making sure that you know where your centre point is, and I'll show you how to put it together. Okay, do that now and I'll meet you in a bit. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is cut a cord that's going to be used as the tie for the division between the head and the neck. So I'm just going to cut about 10 centimetres. But then what I'm going to do is I'm going to untwist some of that. So I'm not using a full 3mm width. Okay, I'm just going to use a thinner part. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to tie that around. Okay, so I'm just going to tie that round there, and that will make the ghost's neck. Okay, so tie that now and I'll see you in a sec. Right, so I've tied that, and all I'm going to do now is I'm just going to tuck these loose bits. I'm just going to tuck them inside the ghost. You might find it easier to use a pair of scissors with your fingers. And what that will do is that will sort of like hide it within the white cords. So I want it to go under there. Okay, and then when we brush it through again, they'll sort of like all mingle in with the white cords, and it will be secure. Okay, so that's that. Then either using your comb or your brush, okay, you can do that. You can always pull that, if you want them completely hidden, you can always pull the white cords over so that those black cords sort of like get hidden in between. Okay, so I'll let you do that more to suit yourself, and then all we need to do is just make some eyes. So I'm going to use another little bit of this black. Okay, so what I'm doing is just tying a little overhand knot, and I'm going to trim the loose bits on the end, right here, and then I just need to stick those down with a blob of glue. Oh, I've got a few stray bits there. You can trim the stray bits off, and you're going to make 2 eyes, stick them on with a blob of glue, and yeah, you're done. Okay, do that now and I'll see you in a second. Okay, so there is your little ghost tassel, and all I'm going to do is just to tidy this bit up like I did for the eyes. I'm just going to cut these spare cords, make it look all nice and tidy. You've got your hook there if you want to just hang them up, or you could put a longer cord through there to make them into a garland. A simple little Halloween project. Okay, I hope you've really enjoyed that. If you have, please leave a comment, hit like, subscribe, make sure the little notification bell is on, and then you will be notified when I upload new videos. And I'll see you for November's subscription box. Thanks for watching. Bye.